I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got two words for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy.
All right, welcome to episode 25 of Podcast of the Immortals. I'm Matt Bush.
I'm Jimmy Bellamy, and it feels like we were just doing this.
We were a little over 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
We just got done watching Raw. It's 1:10 in the morning.
Central Time,
yeah. We had to do it right after tonight because I'm heading to California tomorrow.
California?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I guess it would be tomorrow now because I get there on Wednesday.
Okay, yeah.
And it's officially Tuesday. So yes, I will be in California tomorrow for Comic-Con, and I'm so excited.
That'll be fun.
But, man, what a great Raw.
It was better than I could have imagined it, and I think part of it was I didn't know that they were going to be in New York. Mm-hmm. I give New York a hard time when it comes to sports and their fans. I think they suck most of the time, but they've been great with wrestling, and tonight was no exception.
Well, they started out really hot, and the show started really hot, and the crowd was they had their Randy Savage chants, they had their JBL chants. It was like they were trying to recreate the night after Mania 29.
I know you're having trouble getting it together because
choking up.
That Raw after Mania meant so much to you.
It did, but we've been there, done that. The lightning can't strike twice. They couldn't maintain it, obviously. After about 15 minutes, it was still a good, hot crowd, but it wasn't nearly what Night After Mania was.
It was good. Of course, the Raw After Mania contains so many little nuggets or so many little surprises that really set the table for that next season of feuds and matches. This one kind of did it because SummerSlam is the pay-per-view they're going to be hyping, but in a much different way. This one was a little more predictable than the Raw After Mania, but still refreshing.
Yeah, good stuff. Great wrestling. Before we jump right into Raw, we do have some news, and I was talking to you earlier tonight. I wanted to tell you the news. I don't know if you know it yet. I just want to explain what's going on and get your honest, 100% full reaction about it before, because I think we're guilty of talking about it too much before we go on the air, and then we kind of have to have the same conversation sometimes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have this fresh.
Chances are I don't know, because I haven't been paying attention today.
Okay, well, good. I have three talking points. So we'll go number one. Former superstars in talks with Triple H to return on the same type of schedule that RVD and Chris Jericho is. Who do you think that wrestler would be?
Okay, my initial guess, and it's probably not right, but based on how you look right now, I'm going to say Austin.
No.
Okay, not Austin.
God, I would.
Then I'm going to say.
I wouldn't have been able to not tell you that. I would have texted you or something earlier. And then
I'm going to say Shawn Michaels.
No, Dave Batista.
Ah.
Yeah. This was by WrestleZone.com, I believe. It hasn't been picked up by other sites, so I'm curious whether or not it's legit. But it's a fairly reputable news site, but not quite like PW Torch or PW Insider or anything like that.
I think we're going to see we are seeing this changing of the way things are. I saw a poll question on PW Torch not long ago saying, should wrestling have seasons? And I think their way of getting around it, because you're never going to not have that 52 weeks a year of entertainment. Yeah. The money's just too big, is they're almost going to have seasons of characters that they ship in and out. And I guess one way is to have your TV talent be part-time talent. And I don't know how I feel about that. These are. I do have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings about Jericho and now RVD, all those part-timers, but maybe not them as much as, say, like a Brock Lesnar, who's not their nearly as much on TV.
I'm okay with it because the way they've gone about it, the young guys are getting their shot. Mm-hmm. The young guys are getting pay-per-view time. Look at the Shield. Look at the Wyatts now. A lot of young guys right now are Sandow winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Cesaro's getting a push. There's just a lot of young talent that's actually getting over Daniel Bryan, for instance.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it, as long as it's not pushing it down. Like WCW was guilty of that. They kept Hogan and Nash and Hall at the peak, and they wouldn't let anyone come up. Mm-hmm. The only talent they ever developed in WCW was Goldberg.
And those guys were notorious for kind of running the show, running the locker room, running everything, where they were given way too much power. And I'm sure that there are guys, whether it's Cena or whether it was The Rock or it was The Undertaker, some of those guys do. And I mean, Triple H is a prime example as someone who, I guess, had some political power as a wrestler. And WWE, I think, is a little more organized. And as much as I think that anytime that the words WWE Universe are uttered, I have to roll my eyes, much like you did right there. And I think it's just pandering and just a way for them to try to get money out of all those Kmart shoppers and little kids. They do listen, and they do eventually give the fans what they want.
Yeah. Talking point number 2. There is a surprise addition to the roster of WWE 14 video game. I'll give you 2 guesses.
I don't need them. It's Ultimate Warrior.
It is the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
You're on top of your video game news. I should have known you would have known that already.
Yeah. Did you see the commercial?
I did.
I tweeted to somebody. I don't know who the guy was. Because I did a search for the video because I heard that there was a new trailer out, and the guy posted it. He's like, "Oh, with Ultimate Warrior in WWE 14, it's now going to be the greatest video game or WWE game ever." And the commercial has Ultimate Warrior in it, and he's in an office setting at 2K Games. And he's beating people up, and he's wearing white jeans in the commercial. And I'm like, I tweeted back, I said, his character better be playable with white jeans on.
Nice.
Oh gosh.
I loved it because the way he's talking, it's like a minute and a half. This trailer, the way he's talking, it sounds like one of his nonsensical, rants that he used to do in the late '80s, early '90s. Just the Warrior Nation will rise up and
it was well done. It was sweet.
I'm excited to play as Warrior. I'd always downloaded him. He was always one of the first guys I would download, from community creations, and he's just fun, colorful, a lot of cool moves and stuff. So I'm excited to see him in the game, and I hope that this leads to a possible Hall of Fame induction.
Well, you kind of took the words out of my mouth there. I'd like to see that, but what I'm kind of hoping for is that this would make a TV return for him. If he came in granted, the guy's, it's well documented, the guy's bleeping crazy.
As a manager or something?
I was going to say that would be nice, but the man is so nuts that I don't think he'd be cooperative. I think even at his age, he still, I think, would no show. Mm-hmm. I think he would try to hold them up for more money and not keep that perspective of, hey, they don't need you. You're just an aging, ripped out of your mind, face paint wearing guy. But you're still insane.
You're still
just an insane dude, who I think walked away from them a couple times. But I'd like to see him make a return to TV, just even if it's just on one of those Legends nights and he fights a match or something.
Yeah. Could you imagine the crowd going insane?
Yeah, I mean, if he has like a 1-minute match against Drew McIntyre or something, I'd be really excited to see that.
Yeah, that'd be totally worth
I'd pop for that. I'd pop for that.
All right, talking point number 3. I really don't think you'll know this, but there is a WWE leak.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
I saw that, the Reddit, Dolphins 1925.
So you're all over it. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that the results of the pay-per-views are predetermined?
Shocking, I know.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, what have I been doing with myself for 25 episodes?
I also found out that people knew that Steve Carell would be on the finale of The Office beforehand.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Apparently it was filmed.
You yourself, you are a Redditor.
I am.
I'm not. I like Reddit. I go on there maybe once a month, if that. But I guess my question would be what is this person gaining by giving these results? What's the point of it?
He said for those of, I mean, we should probably explain it.
Yeah.
There's a user on
You should
Reddit.
probably explain.
Reddit.
I'm not gonna explain.
For those of you who don't know what Reddit is, it's a bunch of communities built together, and you can subscribe to different communities. This particular community on Reddit was called Squared Circle, and I'm actually subscribed to that subreddit. Mm-hmm. And I had seen his posts, and I had never clicked on it but I had always seen them after the fact, so I had just assumed, this is the page for results. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't click on them. But it says 100% accurate results. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't click on this. It had been posted before the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And this guy is 38 for 38 on his picks in the last like four or five pay-per-views. I think since Mania. He's posted them like 10-15 minutes before the pay-per-view starts. 100% accurate. And he says he wants to do this to show that there is a leak in the WWE and that they'll tighten up and maybe be a little more secure on their, what's going on.
I wonder if what they'll do is, one, if they're even concerned. I've got to imagine they are. And two, if they will plant a result or change a result at the last second to try to see who that leak is.
That's a Game of Thrones. That's remember when Tyrion Lannister did that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's not a bad idea.
It's good. Kim Kardashian did that actually too. She sent a different baby photo to each one of her friends.
That's right.
To see who would sell it to the tabloids. And that's what she found out.
That's right. I'm glad you're keeping up on your Kim Kardashian news too.
Well, I had heard that, and I'm like, that's a Tyrion Lannister right there.
Don't give her that much credit, though.
I know.
I'm sure one of her handlers thought of that first.
But yeah, more than likely. That's our news for the week. Pretty cool stuff.
I would like to see Batista back. I know you had mentioned a couple months ago that he was getting back to his wrestling weight.
Yeah.
And I had said that I know he was going to be in that Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
And the character he's playing.
He's actually going to be at Comic-Con for that, what is it, Riddick movie?
Yeah, I think he is in that. Now that you say that does sound familiar. I think he is. So,
yeah, he's going to be on the panel for that. So maybe I'll ask him if I see him. I doubt I will, though. That's our news. We'll get into Raw now. Raw kicked off with Brad Maddox, his era beginning as a new general manager. He announced a Money in the Bank rematch between Ziggler and ADR. John Cena interrupts the Maddox promo, I guess you could say. And Maddox, to Cena, says, guess what, John Cena? As my first act as general manager, you're going to select your opponent at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship.
Did they just run out of ideas? Because we have been talking for weeks about how are they going to make that connection. Mm-hmm. How are they going to connect the dots of Cena versus Bryan at SummerSlam, which has been rumored for about 2 months?
Yeah.
Roughly 2 months?
I remember us. I think, yeah. It was a while ago now.
I think you can check back at episode 17 and find something on that.
More than likely. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan ends up being the selection.
And if you haven't seen Raw yet and you're listening to this, kudos to you. That's dedication. But, I'm sure if you are listening to this, you know by now. Bryan, I thought, was going to have to fight Henry for the number one contendership or something, but this way they just kind of got it out of the way. I hope I say I hope a lot. I just have all these hopes on WWE.
It's better to be hopeful than depressed.
That's true. Yeah. What I'd like to see is if Maddox has a long reign as GM. I hope they don't just set him up to be a temporary guy to take the fall for something. Of course, Brad Maddox himself isn't making these decisions on who fights who and whatever, but he was highly entertaining in every segment.
He makes me laugh, and just looking at the guy.
He looks like when you watch a stand-up comic, some guys look super comfortable on stage, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's got it, and it almost doesn't even matter what they say. They look so comfortable up there that it makes you feel good, and you find what they have to say funnier than I think you normally would. And Maddox, he's so comfortable. He doesn't have that sometimes odd demeanor or poor cadence or crappy line delivery. He looks so comfortable. He looks right in place, and I love it. I mean, you touched on it last week on that Vine. His facial expressions.
Yeah.
He does a really good job of just playing his character, and I think he's perfect for that role. Somebody who's going to get regular TV time. I would have liked to have seen him as a wrestler. Maybe we will someday.
We could possibly in the future. He could book himself.
Yeah, that's true. But this is a great position for him to be in, and I hope it lasts a long time. He's way better than Laurinaitis, way better than Vicky Guerrero,
way better than AJ Lee,
and Teddy Long, way better.
When he announced that Cena was going to choose, the crowd erupted into a yes chant. But Orton, his music hit, and he came out, says that he is coming for that belt, and he might not be champion come SummerSlam, and his decision won't matter at all.
Mm-hmm. It was
at this point Fandango interrupted.
First, it was good that they recognized that Cena may not be champion by SummerSlam. Sometimes they ignore that, and you think, well, what am I going to watch for the next 4 weeks if this guy is in these title matches and know he's going to win? So they did a good job of paying attention to themselves and saying, yes, this could happen. Mm-hmm. So it leaves in that possibility that Orton could cash in at any time. Then Fandango. I was stunned. Yeah. I would have put my money on Bryan coming out. I would have put my money on, I'd say even Punk, but he's so wrapped up in that Lesnar-Heyman thing, I figured he wouldn't be involved. But my money would have been on Bryan to come out. Shocked to see Fandango.
Crowd went nuts.
Great response.
I think it was a perfect choice. It was Fandango's first return to the tri-state area, I guess you could say. Since the Fandango phenomenon had started, crowd went immediately into Fandango mode. We got a really hot start to the whole Raw, and actually Fandango cleared Orton out of the ring before Orton came back and then did his.
They went on to, that match was rock solid. Loved seeing that, and that's got to make a guy like Fandango just feel great that you're a heel and you're getting cheered, but I mean you're doing your job as a heel. There's people booing you too, but he and Orton looked so good together, and if they could develop some kind of rivalry out of this, Orton needs more guys to fight anyway. Yeah, this would be a good one.
I could tell it was a good match because my only notes, I must have been watching it a little too closely, where Orton checks out a hot mom in the front row. There were Randy Savage chants and JBL chants. Those were my notes on the match. Just
the Orton, we even rewound it. I think it was that clothesline on Fandango on the outside, and then the way he the way Orton pivoted his body afterward, he ended up resting his hands on the barricade, and then it's like he looked stunned that right in front of him was this
super hot,
extremely attractive woman with her children next to her, and she was gifted in some areas. But it made for a funny moment because I think Orton's face genuinely showed surprise. It was not a planned bit. He didn't see her in advance, and he was pleasantly surprised to have the sight in front of him that he had.
Oh, it was
especially for being recently divorced, he had to appreciate that.
Single, mingling, all that jazz. Speaking of romances ending, immediately following that match,
terrific transition.
Yes,
A plus on that one.
Thank you. Dolph Ziggler finally broke things off with AJ Lee.
Yeah, they kept this one short and sweet, made it easy. She says, I'm sorry about last night, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, let's just move on. And she thinks, we're going to move on from this. We're good. And he means, no, I'm moving on from you.
Yeah.
Done.
Crowd went nuts.
And this solidifies him as a straight-up babyface. You had to know what was coming next, though, once Dolph reappeared in the night. And
we'll get to that in a little bit, but that was a really cool moment, too. Mark Henry came out next. Sexual chocolate chance, of course. You tapped out chance, and you called that last night, actually.
Yeah.
Henry wants John Cena at SummerSlam. He's making his case to be picked. He says he almost had him Sunday night. And he wants his one more match, as Christian would say. The Shield interrupts Mark Henry as he's talking, and Henry ends up fighting out, being outnumbered. He held his own pretty well, but finally the numbers game catches
Shield.
up. Yep.
Vintage
and
Hounds of Justice.
They actually got him up for a triple power bomb, and holy shit chance ensued.
This was a good move. It got the Shield back into it after a couple of tough encounters with the Usos, and you had Ambrose's ladder match last night. You had the Shield being on the pre-show. This kind of reestablished the heat on them, and instantly makes Mark Henry a babyface. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a hard sell at this point, even after everything's done in the last month. But I guess CM Punk coming back from the Undertaker match was a babyface. So
this one's they're on the fence though. This could go either way. He could come out He could come out on SmackDown. He could come out next Raw and just beat the shit out of somebody and end up being
as
a heel
he's known
again.
To do.
Yeah, that's what he do. But I think this gets a lot of heat on the Shield and allows the crowd to not feel bad about cheering Mark Henry like they kind of have been against Cena. And after his great retirement spoof, that was awesome.
I thought he might retire again tonight. The way he was dressed and...
Yeah, I didn't see that happening just because it was too similar to what took place there. And plus, to Cena, when he did pull that ruse on him, he said, "I've got plenty left in the tank." So I think we're going to see Henry around for quite a while.
Yeah, I hope
quite a while, I say, until he gets injured again.
Yeah, so, a couple weeks.
Which could have been after that powerbomb for all we know.
Yeah.
He looked like he landed hard on his elbow and shoulder on his left side.
Can't believe they do these things. ADR versus Ziggler was the next match. Rematch of the World Heavyweight Championship. But it wasn't a title match.
I wondered why. Cole remarked and almost caught himself. He said, "Well, if Ziggler could get a win here, he'll be in contention for the WWE or for the World Heavyweight Championship. You'd have to think," or something like that, or possibly. But there was no mention of the title, and there was no mention of it being a non-title match either. It just said a rematch. Which at first, when Maddox came out, I thought, okay, it's for the title. But then when they showed the graphic, it made it clear it was just a regular match.
Well, when you hit rematch on WWE 13, it's the same exact match. It's not, the stipulations aren't changed.
I think it's also in the same night. And the announce table's back intact, even though you knocked it down in the match.
Yeah.
But, good match. You knew what was coming, though, because you have Langston and AJ. They're not going to be happy about the breakup that Dolph had.
Well, it was an awesome match. It had everything.
And I think every match on this show was great. And if you're at this show, I wonder what I'd be curious to see what the dark matches were, what the post Raw match was, and what the main event. Is it main event? Is that what they have on Wednesdays? Or is it Superstars?
It's main event.
It's not Superstars anymore. Yeah. I'd be curious to see what matches they had, but the crowd was treated to some quality matches, both in substance and in the people participating.
It was great. Ziggler had hit the Famouser off of the top rope and looked like he might be in line for victory when the bell rang. And I thought maybe some fan had because there was no camera on the bell, there was no immediate, it felt awesome because I remember watching WCW and WWF back in the 90s where they had the single camera, basically, and then they cut every once in a while. But when run-ins would happen, you'd see the crowd react first, and then you'd be like, "Oh shit, something's happening." it wasn't like all overproduced like it is
Yeah.
now. And it kind of had that feel because I heard the bell and I saw the ref look over, and then I saw like a bunch of the crowd kind of look over, and then they finally cut after like an extended time. I just thought it was very well done because you're like, oh shit, it's AJ.
I thought so too. And wrestling's always better when it looks and feels real. When they had the bell ring, I thought, well, nobody's out there, so it has to be a mistake. Because in my head, I'm thinking, well, what possible explanation would they have for ringing the bell? Ziggler didn't do anything to get DQ'd, but the crowd didn't even make a peep, and they didn't let on that anybody was there.
Well, AJ had a hood on, it looked like. And then after she takes the hood off, the camera finally goes to her, and Ziggler's like, "Get the hell out! What are you doing?" She's yelling, and Del Rio took advantage of that and kicked the shit out of his head again.
Big boot to the jaw. And I mean, we joked, but I don't know if we were really joking. It might be serious. Ziggler took 3 huge bumps.
Yeah.
Well, I should say 3 huge bumps. 2 huge hits to the face. 1 huge bump where he flipped, I think, higher than he wanted to out of the ring and pancaked himself on the outside. But we joked that he suffered 3 concussions in that match.
Yeah. Well, I likened him to Reggie Ray from Not Another Teen Movie, with the countdown clock for his concussions and
Billy
all
Bob
that.
from Varsity Blues.
Yep.
And I made the call during this match that I guarantee by 2016, Ziggler won't be wrestling. I mean, I think the guy's got 2 years left. He can't keep it up like this. I mean, it's not good. I cringe every time I see him take a shot to the head. And it's not just him. Someone else tonight took a shot. Jericho took a shot where he landed on his head. RVD. I'm sure those guys do it all the time. Christian took a spill outside.
Oh yeah, that looked bad.
It hurts to watch them.
Yeah, well, and then after he gets smacked in the head by Del Rio and loses the match, AJ's like attacking him. He turns around and gets demolished by Big E Langston out of nowhere.
More great camera work.
More awesome camera work because he turned around and like boom, Big E was
and
there.
again, the crowd didn't let on at all. There was no excessive.
Yeah.
There was no rise in the cheering or anything.
It was awesome. I loved that whole bit how everything went down.
Me too.
Well done, WWE. Well done. After the match, R-Truth comes out and does his shtick, and we had another Wyatt sighting.
I got a little nervous at first when I saw Truth come out. I thought, oh great, is this where Santino returns? Or we have one of those throwaway garbage matches, but we were saved by the Wyatts.
They're here.
Very cool. Love the intro. Love the way all of them look. Who would have thought that Wyndham Rotunda as Husky Harris would be a great stable leader? He
cut a promo after they beat him down, and it was awesome. I didn't really write down any quotes because I was watching it.
You could tell he was talking about Kane because he made reference to his brother betraying him. And said, "What about the man? What if you found out the man who created you is a liar?" So you could kind of tell he was referring to Kane, and then sure enough, at the end, he even says Kane's name. Follow the buzzards. He says
it was sweet. And then R-Truth came back, and he was mad. He had a chair, and he was challenging Bray, and the other two left. And Bray standing in the ring, come and get me, just challenging him, and. He ended up beating up R-Truth again.
R-Truth got distracted by the guys on the outside, and Bray gave him kind of like that stinger splash in the corner, pummeled him. Then all three pummeled him.
Then he gave him the Wyatt Plex.
The Wyatt Plex, that devastating Wyatt Plex, which is close to the Rhodes Plex.
Kind of like the Rhodes, Crossroads, kind of like Shake, Rattle, and Rhodes, swinging neck breaker kind of thing. A lot of people are using those kind of moves right now.
Yeah, I think they're avoiding some of the high flying moves, and they're avoiding some of the lifting moves. Because you see, I mean, look at power bombs are, so early aughts. I mean, for wrestler safety, I'm fine with seeing that. I mean, the pile driver's been outlawed for a while. We just don't see the power bomb too much.
Rollins is a curb stomp. He just steps on the guy's head. And I'm like, that's the most dangerous thing. Like, if someone tries that at home, they're going to smash their teeth. And, oh, my God. I'm just worried about that.
I'm just glad I'm not 6 years old right now.
Yeah, we'd be doing it right now. We'd be
because when we were kids, it was easy to take the stunner. Gosh, I remember one time.
Rock bottom, people's elbow.
I remember one time, I think I was like 15 and my little brother was like 11, or we were 14 and 10 or something. And this would have been 1990. God, maybe I was even older. Maybe he was 12 and I was 16. But it was like 1997. So it's NWO.
Yeah.
97, 98. And I powerbombed him. I jackknife powerbombed him like Nash style.
Yeah.
Where you pick him up and you kind of like drop him.
Yeah.
Like at your shoulders.
Well, at least you're not 7 feet tall.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm 5'8" now, and I was probably like 5'5" then. I don't know, but I dropped him on our living room floor, and usually we'd set up the couch cushions or pillows or something. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I jackknife powerbombed him, and he landed so hard on his back, and I was so scared that I had hurt him badly.
Yeah,
and for a few days, maybe even weeks after, he had been kind of complaining about how his back was sore. And I remember even like talking about it now makes me feel bad. Like, I feel like, what the hell was I thinking? But I mentioned it to him a couple of months ago. We were hanging out at his house playing video games or something, and I mentioned it to him. I was like, your back doesn't still hurt, does it? And he's like, no. And he's like, how long have you been holding on to that one? And I'm like, for a long time. He's like, no, it's fine. So I was so relieved.
Except for this thing right here.
Bulging disc.
Yeah.
But even to this day, thinking about my brother, who's now 28, and just the sweetest guy in the world. And I think, what in the hell would I have done if I would have like permanently maimed him? Or
well, you would have took home the belt. That's what you would have done.
That plastic piece of Mattel, whatever. Oh, I don't even think Mattel made him back.
Total heel move right there.
Yeah, just and I don't even like Kevin Nash.
No, that was my move of choice. But we would always wrestle in pools during hotel like stays for hockey and stuff. Always doing the power bombs on the people. It was awesome.
Choke slam,
or the Razor's Edge.
Choke slam was good. The Razor's Edge to me is too dangerous. That's why you never see Sheamus do it anymore.
Yeah,
that Celtic cross. But now, I mean, kids. 19 knee surgeries.
19.
Stunners were easy.
Yeah.
I mean, stunners didn't hurt. Stunners weren't the guy giving the move.
On the 4th of July, I gave an awesome stunner. The guy sold it. Like his dad was like a manager in wrestling, you know, growing up, so he knew all the guys. Like, he knows Hulk Hogan and stuff.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. So he sold it like a champ, and then I taunted him like in the video game after he's like, flipping off and stuff. It was awesome.
We are adults. We want to remind you guys we are adults.
Oh yeah, and he's older than both of us. He's like 33, and big time star.
I should just, because I feel so terrible about it, I should tell you guys that after that I really didn't. My brother and I didn't really fight.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why he doesn't like wrestling.
No, because I think he got sick of wrestling because of how just aggressive we were playing the video games. Oh. And I think we took it too far a couple times with how intense we were. Mm-hmm. But after that jackknife incident, we really didn't. I never liked to like. Granted, I was also approaching adulthood, and I never liked my friends who were mean to their siblings or didn't get along with their siblings, and so maybe the jackknife was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, maybe. Our next match was Real Americans versus the Usos.
I didn't think we'd get so deep on this podcast.
I know.
It's been nice. Real Americans versus the Usos. The
match.
The WWE universe, of course, had a chance to vote for who was going to be participating in this mum match.
Yep, and it was either
Usos,
two teams you don't care about, or the Usos.
Yeah, you could have the Brooklyn Brawler.
Mm-hmm.
No, Tons of Funk
the
and
Funkadactyls.
I would have rather seen that. Tons of Funk and Primetime Players were the also-rans in that vote.
I would have liked to see the primetime players. I think they need a push here.
Mm-hmm. No, of course, the group's called the Real Americans. This was the first day that they were touting Cesaro and Swagger as the Real Americans, as a tag team. Good to see that they weren't Team Real Americans.
Yeah.
But I was kind of hoping for We the People.
They should come out. Well, We the People would begin. If they're going to be called the Real Americans, they need to come out to Hogan's.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
We kind of had a round going there.
Is that a rondo? Is that what it's called?
A Ray John Rondo. Yeah, we dished it out. 17 assists.
What word did you teach me yesterday?
Oh, did I teach you a word?
Yeah, Joe mentioned it. Joe. Who the fuck's Joe?
I don't know.
Andy mentioned it, and then you're like, yeah, I taught Jimmy that the other day.
Oh, chalk.
Chalk, yeah. So we've got non-canon, canon, chalk, and now a rondo. I was able to teach you.
Yeah.
Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee. Do you remember that?
No.
You didn't do that in elementary school?
No, not at all.
It was called, I think it was called like, and somebody help us out here, like Rondo USA or something. You said like somebody would say Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Tennessee, and you'd keep repeating that, and somebody would come and go Iowa, Iowa, and eventually you'd make it all the way around.
Whenever we did rotundos or rondos, we would do row your boat.
Yes,
yeah,
that's a very popular one.
Yeah. All right, next match, Sandow, fresh off his Money in the Bank victory, took on Christian. That was a good match.
Quality.
Yeah, another good match.
A result I wasn't expecting. Christian wins.
Christian wins with a roll-up. Huge fall from Christian in that. Looked really bad. Mm-hmm. It kind of looked like it looked really bad.
Yeah, sitting on the top rope. I'm just looking at it. I'm guessing he was supposed to fall but a lot more gracefully.
Yeah.
But he was
like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, pushed off the top rope and kind of lost his grip on the rope and just
back smashed right into the corner of the ring there.
Didn't look good.
Sando loses after a roll up. Sando grabs the mic and starts talking shit, about how he's still the Money in the Bank contract holder, and he gets his ass beat by Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was laughing at him saying still the intellectual savior and Money in the Bank winner or whatever of Money in the Bank, that when he got attacked. Again, great camera work. I'm like, who's attacked? Oh, yeah, he had that thing with Cody Rhodes. Yep. So it was cool to see. And
face turn for Cody.
And I love Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, if you're listening, I love you. I like that you don't drink because your family gains weight so quickly. You see your brother, he's bigger. Your dad's huge. And I know that you keep a clean body so you can have that body of a god.
And that stash.
You look like a 1930s movie star. I love it.
Kind of looks like Paul Newman, late Paul Newman, with this mustache.
Like the dead Paul Newman?
Like later on in life, Paul Newman.
Okay. Paul Newman, rest in peace. We love you, buddy.
All right. Next match was a
Reg Dunlop.
Naomi versus Brie. They look good. That's all I got to say about the match. We didn't even watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna, we wouldn't lie to any of you guys. That's I'll tell you how honest we are. My dog is sleeping on the couch next to me and Matt right now, and we fast forwarded this match because it was like 12:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time. I'm tired. Matt's tired, and we just wanted to see Naomi enter. And then we saw her do a nice crossbody off the top rope to pin Brie Bella.
It looked like a legit, pretty good finish there, but that's all we saw.
Yes.
CM Punk came to the ring next, so.
CM Punk cut a promo. He says he knows Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar in the building, and he's done waiting, so come on out.
Yeah.
Heyman comes out.
Of course.
They have a pretty good confrontation. Heyman says a lot of cool things.
Heyman says he screwed Punk because Punk isn't the best in the world because he can't beat Brock Lesnar.
And then Punk says he's going to destroy everything around and burn everyone around Heyman.
Yep.
And he's going to leave Heyman as the last man standing and then hurt him worse than anyone else.
And he called him a son of a bitch.
Yes.
Which was bleeped out by WWE.
Or it wasn't bleeped, it was...
Or silenced,
Silenced out.
It was Benoit.
Oh my God, it's tape delayed. Son of a bitch. So bitch.
I thought that was a good joke.
I did. Yeah, got Benoit. So what he means is that instead of hearing the word bitch, bitch was silenced, went home, killed its wife, killed its 7-year-old son, and then hung itself on like a hand bike or something.
And then they never talk about bitch again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It was replaced by biatch.
Mm-hmm.
And Liev Schreiber is going to play biatch in a movie.
Nice.
So yeah, that was pretty poor right there.
Okay, Heyman says time is now. It's clobbering time. Mm-hmm. And
then
Lesnar's music hits slightly afterwards.
Yeah, like 5 seconds after it should have.
Almost good timing.
And then Brock comes out in the Jimmy John's uniform and just he and Punk go at it. Punk is, as they pointed out several times, relentless. And I said this weeks ago, it was shown tonight. I said I'm going to love this feud because Brock Lesnar is so easily going to be able to throw CM Punk around. And it was so fun to watch. And there were a couple times where I think Punk was shocked how far he was thrown. They're going to put on such a great show.
Yeah, it's going to be
Take
great.
my money now.
Lesnar just manhandled Punk. And, like, it's been a while that, Punk's been in a feud where I'm like, okay, he's going to win.
Significantly outmatched.
Yeah, even against Undertaker, like, I thought they were pretty evenly matched, but Lesnar just physically destroys him. In a real fight, Lesnar would beat him in 30 seconds.
I don't know. He's been doing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Punk has.
Yeah,
and
well.
all it takes is, I don't think Brock's Jiu-Jitsu is that solid. I mean, realistically, yeah, Brock would probably beat the piss out of him.
Yeah.
Who knows? He did lose to Frank Mir. But...
He had the stomach disease or whatever, though.
Yeah, I hope... Diverticulitis.
Yeah.
I hope that CM Punk's matches or match with this part-time talent go better than his matches with the previous part-time talent, The Rock. Those matches were okay, but...
It was saddled because everyone knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, good point.
This one, I don't know who's going to win because I don't know what they have planned for Lesnar in the future. I told you what I was hoping he would have a run where he ends up facing The Rock for the championship at WrestleMania 30. I think that'd be a really, really cool match. Punk doesn't need the belt right now.
Yeah, but do you really want two part-time guys fighting for the WWE title at the biggest pay-per-view of the year?
Well, we've seen
just a one-on-one match? Brock Rock in 2014? I don't know.
We're going to have all part-timers at Mania. It's going to be Sting versus Undertaker, Stone Cold versus CM Punk, hopefully.
Triple H versus Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
It's Stephanie as special guest referee.
RVD, Y2J. I mean, there's going to be a lot of part-timers there. I really don't see a problem with it because The Rock is The Rock. He can come in and get a title shot whenever. And Lesnar...
Who's John Cena fighting at WrestleMania then?
John Cena.
He's going to fight...
He's finally found his match.
He's going to fight fake John Cena?
No.
He's going to fight Darren Young?
Yeah. Darren Young. Yeah, I remember. Okay, speaking of RVD and Y2J, they had a match as well. ECW chants through the crowd. EC Dub. Awesome match. It extended through 2 commercial breaks. Really good stuff. I liked it.
This was a pay-per-view match. Aside from RVD's obvious ring rust, his paunch, his arms that are starting to look like mine, which, if you haven't seen me, is not a good thing for a professional wrestler. It was a good match. It got better, and I would like to think that RVD will get better.
Yeah.
He'll shake that rust off. He'll get some of that speed back, but he's 42 years old. He kind of looked like he was 48 years old.
Yeah.
For what I guess that 6 years makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, Jericho's the same age, and you wouldn't know looking at him.
No, Jericho's not.
He's a freak.
Not as fast as he was 14 years ago, or 12 years ago, but he's still in terrific shape.
RVD hit him with a moonsault onto from the top of the ring to the outside. That was really cool. Hit the 5-star frog splash for the finish. Just awesome stuff. It was really good.
RVD, well, also we should mention RVD and Punk both sporting a baker's dozen worth of staples in their heads.
Yeah, and RVD actually probably had one come loose a little bit because there's a little trickle of blood on his forehead maybe in the match there. That led us to our main event or whatever, the decision, you know. Cena decided to take his talents to South Beach, face Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam, and holy shit, the crowd went insane.
I don't know what to make of this segment just because they had everybody standing out there. You have Jericho and Ryback who fought last night. Now they're standing shoulder to shoulder, just not even caring the next one.
Well,
next to him.
When they have a shot at the belt, nothing else matters.
Everything gets put aside. Yeah.
As Metallica would say, nothing else matters.
Cena started dropping y'all bombs. Like, dude, you're from Massachusetts. Stop it.
Yeah. He should.
I don't even think he
should go up like Bobby Kennedy or something.
Wicked. I don't think he dropped that many y'alls when he had the rapper gimmick, even.
No.
And
he was always rapping about the fall.
What?
Y'all fall the rhyme. I don't know, man.
We're gonna delete this last 30 seconds
and cut. It was stupid for most of it. Cena comes out. He's like, "Oh, should I take on the Great Khali?"
And everybody pretty much booed, but Khali seemed satisfied.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, that's my name." Should I take on Heath Slater?
Birthday boy Heath Slater.
Yeah.
And I know Dan Tracy when he watched that, he was like, yeah, Slaterade.
Tweeting and
Slaterade.
And then, he did some bigger stars like Y2J and Ryback, RVD.
Randy Orton.
Yeah. But
Del Rio.
There was Daniel Bryan chants, and I thought he was in the back because you couldn't see him. Mm-hmm. He was clearly just behind some bigger dudes because when he announced who he was going to face, and it was Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan comes jumping out, doing the yes, pointing, and the crowd goes nuts.
Either that or he walked out maybe a little bit toward the end.
Maybe.
But yeah, he was. I saw him like
good camera
right
work
before. Yeah. Camera guys, you are on your game.
Disco Stu, if you're listening.
Camera guys and people in the truck calling the shots.
Yeah,
awesome job.
Yeah. Well, that's our main event at SummerSlam, assuming Randy Orton doesn't cash in. What if Randy Orton does cash in? Could we get a triple threat match?
It's possible, but I mean, they have my money already. It's Cena, Bryan, at least for now. Cena, Bryan. It's Lesnar, Punk. It's Shield v Usos. I think we're going to see multiple teams in just some kind of tag team turmoil or something. Just because you got to get the real Americans in there.
Yeah.
You're going to see Cody Sandow.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great pay-per-view. And maybe they'll have... God, I don't want to think... I really don't care to see a Mark Henry Randy Orton match, but are they gonna if you got to use your Benoit verb, are they gonna Ryback Mark Henry and just kind of like send him to the back of the line?
They'll probably give him to Vicky too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SummerSlam's gonna be sweet, and I hope the build continues. Now, history will tell us that next week's Raw is going to be crappy, but history has never had Brad Maddox as its general manager. So yes. I have faith, WWE. I have faith in next week's episode being a good one.
Yeah. Did you see my shirt? Do you see how my muscles are kind of like getting bigger?
Yeah, he's like, was that an extra medium?
Yeah. And my arms just keep getting bigger.
Extra medium's my line, too.
Extra medium.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Second day in a row. We hope you're enjoying it. We'll be back next week on our normal schedule. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, as always. We got 97Bush, at Immortals Speakcast, at Jimmy Bellamy, at Manico1 or whatever it was. I've already forgotten her.
Yeah, at whatever your girlfriend's thing is, because you shouldn't have that memorized or anything.
She told me she got quite a few followers, so thank you guys for supporting my girlfriend on that. That's cool. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube,
Podbean, WordPress,
Vine.
Yes, Vine.
Your Vine.
Everything. And just, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I like being able to do the pay-per-view reacts, post-match, post-show. And tonight worked out great. Matt had to work, and since he's leaving for Cali tomorrow, we decided to do it tonight because I had a soccer game that lasted until 10 Central. So he came over, we watched it on DVR, popped this out, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you for the support. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.